All right, folks, now we're going to switch gears after that and talk to my great friend, National Economic Council Director, Mr. Kevin Hassett. Interesting day, Kevin. Anyway, I want to talk about, we had a lot of fun with this on Friday and over the weekend on the radio. Russell Vought's secret sauce to combat Chuck Schumer's shutdown. Now, those meetings, I assume those meetings are happening as you and I talk, so I'm glad they let you out to talk to me. But the fact is, Russ is talking about, put out a circular, and he said, you know what, if this thing is, if these positions aren't funded, if the commissions and boards aren't funded, why then we will have reductions in force that could total up to 300,000. There could be 50 commissions and boards and programs taken off. In other words, Schumer is giving, in a sense, on a silver platter what we couldn't get legislatively, we could get during the shutdown. If he actually wants to do that, you know, it's like, go ahead, make our day. So is the Russ Vought secret sauce still in play, Kevin Hassett?
Yeah, absolutely it is. And again, to be clear, what Russ is saying is that it's a circular that instructs the cabinet secretaries to assess how they best want to respond to the government shutdown, and reminding them of the legal truth that if money is not appropriated for a position, then they then have the authority to eliminate the position. Of course, it's very intuitive. And that's an enormous amount of leverage over the Democrats. And I can tell you that moderate Democratic senators are very, very anxious about what Chuck Schumer is doing. And I know there are a lot of discussions today that hopefully will end the Democrats' threat of a government shutdown. But if they shut it down, then they might not like the consequences.
I mean, the Schumer idea, which, by the way, is interesting. If you saw it this morning, Unleash Prosperity Hotline, the insurance companies are behind this stuff. They want to spend more money. They want to go back and put the COVID money back in. They want to put Obamacare subsidies back in, because these insurance companies are the big winners. They want to stop the eligibility requirements that you all put in one big beautiful bill. I mean, the number bandied about is they want to add $1 trillion to this thing. They couldn't get that legislatively. I mean, that you can't allow that to happen. A shutdown would be a small price to pay, particularly if you had 300,000 RIFs and 50 boards and commissions knocked out. I'd take that trade anytime, Kevin Hassett.
I mean, their ask is completely unreasonable. And the fact is that for previous Democratic administrations, presidents always said, look, give us a clean continuing resolution. Give us a clean continuing resolution. That is, keep the government open. Don't shut the government down. And the last 13 times that it happened under Biden, then it happened clean. And so the bottom line is that they're trying to get some leverage where they don't have any. And I think Russ Vought really called their bluff.
You think so? You think they're going to back down? Will there be a peace treaty in the meeting today, or who knows?
You know, President Trump is a very persuasive guy, and we can hope for the best, that the Democrats don't shoot themselves in the foot. But they have been shooting themselves in the foot an awful lot lately, but we can hope for the best.
All I know, Kevin Hassett, is you're doing something right, because second quarter GDP was 3.8%, and the third quarter GDP, Atlanta Fed trackers, 3.9%.
It's 3.9%.
That's almost twice what the Federal Reserve and all these other experts said we could get.
Right. The golden age that President Trump promised us is really on the way. And in fact, the things that you like the best, the capital spending and so on, those are the numbers that are really the strongest. In fact, if you go back and look to when President Trump took office, capital spending, equipment spending, which is the stuff that really drives wage growth, is up 7%, not at an annual rate, 7%. And so there's a massive investment boom, and that's why we're seeing all of this GDP growth. We're almost 4% growth. I can remember back in the day when I first came in as CEA chair in 2017, President Trump wanted to promise 4% growth. And I was like, sir, I don't really see how we could do that. And we kind of talked him down to 3. And then we got 3. But we saw how that stuff worked. And now I think I'm very confident that we're looking at 4% growth. We got a 2 quarters in a row. And there's a story that we took the stuff that we had last time that gave us 3% growth, and we added a whole bunch of new stuff that's going to make growth even higher. And so I think the 4% growth is not an accident. It's not a blip. It's almost, we might call it, shall we, Larry, the new normal.
Kevin Hassett, Director of the National Economic Council. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Larry. Good to see you.